Three teams have been predicted at the top of the Kyle Tucker watch list. How does this affect the Cubs? And do you guys want to sign Kyle Tucker back? How about Cody Bellinger? His wife loves Chicago. Why not? We love it too. The Cubs basically sold him to the Yankees. How do his stats match up with Tucker? We're going to get into that as well. How about Andrew Kittredge back to Baltimore in a deal, and you, Darvish, to miss the remainder of the season, and the Reds sign a former Cubs reliever? All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell, make fun of the Cardinals, whatever you guys want to do. But thank you for being here today, and let's get this show started. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball channel. Thank you for being here right now. And let's talk a little bit of Cubs baseball. A guy that has been a Cubs fan since before the mid-'80s. I feel like I don't want to tell you that because I don't want to age myself too much. But as I look back on this past season, I feel like, you know what? Hey, the Cubs could be building. But how are they going to continue that during this offseason? So I think this is a pivotal offseason. And right off the bat, you got to talk about this guy, Kyle Tucker. What's going to happen with Kyle Tucker? I've mentioned this over and over and over again. And this isn't an indictment of the Cubs front office. I totally get it. But they gave away a king's ransom to get King Tucker. And what did they get? Well, they got a really good player, but was injured for half of the season and is a free agent right now. And are the Cubs willing to pay the ransom to have him for the long haul? And I think most of us feel like that they're not going to do that. Tucker starting to hear some free agent rumors now on his potential next stop. Baseball America says look for 11 years, $360 million, right? The Athletic says, how about 12 years, $460? Can you imagine that? If you go to 12, you get another $100 million. I don't think that's the case. It's just where these guys put it. I got a feeling it's going to be closer to Baseball America because Tucker was injured last year, and we're going to get into his numbers a little bit later. All right, who are the experts predicting is going to sign Kyle Tucker? The Philadelphia Phillies, the Boston Red Sox, the New York Mets, all kind of mentioned in this conversation, but it comes down to three teams according to the experts as of today. And how about these teams? Are you shocked at all? The LA Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants, the Toronto Blue Jays. Two of the three teams played in the World Series, which was really a compelling World Series. And one of those teams in the Giants is just trying to make sure that their arch rival doesn't pull away and turn them into an also-ran. John Heyman's the guy that mentioned these teams. He's one of the best in baseball as far as, like, you know, telling us what's going on, right? And he's saying that, you know, there's six teams, and it doesn't feel like the Cubs are seriously one of those teams right now to sign Kyle Tucker. Look, you never know. But for me personally, and I think I've talked about this on the channel, and this is selfish, I'll take Kyle Schwarber over him because you got Owen Casey. Owen Casey is a Pete Crow Armstrong type of talent. Cubs made a mistake not having him in the big leagues longer last year. They did. Now, what are they going to do in the outfield next year? Well, you got center field secured. and I've never claimed to be the biggest Ian Happ fan, but you know what? Like, look at what he's done. I mean, consistently a Gold Glover, and he's got a no trade clause, so you're going to have him. So who's going to play right field? I feel like the Cubs definitely need to have Owen Casey in that mix. You can't put him in the minor leagues for another year to hit a bunch of home runs in the minors. He's going to be on the big league roster, or you're going to trade him, right? So he's in there, and that kind of gives you guys in the front office an opportunity to spend your resources somewhere else, and that could be potentially on pitching, maybe catching, maybe third base. We've talked about Alex Bregman. A right fielder definitely, to me, isn't a position of enormous need. With that said, how about Cody Bellinger returning to the Cubs? Yeah, could happen. Did you guys not like Cody Bellinger? The Cubs made the trade for Kyle Tucker, and it's like they had to push Cody Bellinger out of town. And what did they get? They got the petite guy that they released, and they gave $5 million up for him. Could you have figured out a way to get him and Tucker in the same lineup? Yeah, that's what it would have took to beat the Dodgers, because the Dodgers would have done it. Cody Bellinger outperformed Kyle Tucker this year. Let me run through this, because, and I'm not saying it was a blowout, but Tucker was hurt this year some. So, I mean, that definitely affected him. He played 136 games, Tucker, 25 doubles, 4 triples, 22 home runs, 73 runs batted in. The most impressive stat to me watching him every day was how disciplined he is at the plate. And he walked this just about as many times as he struck out, 87 to 88. Batted 266, had a 377 on base percentage. Cody Bellinger with the Yankees played 152 games. Win for him. 25 doubles, right there with Tucker. 5 triples, won that one. 29 home runs, won that one. 98 runs batted in, won that. 57 walks to 90 strikeouts. Give that to Tucker. 272. He out-hit Tucker batting average-wise, and Tucker killed him in on-base percentage. He had a 334 on-base percentage. But when you look at this, it's not like the former MVP was that far off compared to all of what the Cubs gave away to get Tucker. Cam Smith, Isaac Paredes, starting pitcher, the guys that the Cubs traded to get Paredes, the $5 million. $5 million. It's a lot of money. I know in baseball it's not, but to me it is. Give me that $5 million. Let me see what I can do with it. So the people are like, now you're seeing reports and they're like, hey, Bellinger's wife could be kind of hinting that he would, at 29 years old, could be coming back to the Cubs. They loved Chicago. Loved it. Yeah, because it's a great city and it's the best team in baseball. Maybe not championship-wise, maybe not record-wise, but Wrigley Field and Cubs fans combined, awesome. And I'm sure Bellinger had a great time. You go to Yankee Stadium and that's fun too, but you got to shave and you got to cut your hair. We don't care about all that. Just have fun, be good, and you can grow long hair. Not that he's one of those guys, but yeah. And I've always thought that Chicago's the best city. Not to take a shot at New York, but we'll see what happens with Bellinger. He opted out too. He's a free agent. And both of those guys are kind of highly sought after right now, and the Cubs may make that move. For me personally, Kyle Schwarber. Get Kyle Schwarber. Put Owen Casey in right. Have Happ, Pete Crow Armstrong, Owen Casey. Put Schwarber at DH. You might have to move Moises Ballesteros. You should get something good back in return for him, maybe some pitching, and then use the rest of your money on fixing the staff, right? And then the other thing is like Shota Imanaga. Cubs didn't pick up the option. He's a free agent right now. He's a guy who could come back to Chicago. I mean, there's other teams in the mix for him. We loved him. He's been the Cubs' best player when you look at the statistics over the last 2 years. But there is this one thing, and I think it's a big one, is that they didn't have enough confidence to allow him to pitch in the playoffs in Game 5 against Milwaukee. That tells you something. That just does. So you need arms. They don't want to pay the price. What's going to happen? I don't know. Now, another pitcher is being traded back to Baltimore, Andrew Kittredge. And this one was kind of surprising to me, right? Kittredge traded back, had an option on his contract. Obviously, the Cubs didn't want to pick it up, and they send him back to Baltimore. Baltimore's going to pick up his contract, and then he's going to pitch for the Orioles. Interesting. Because the Cubs traded Baltimore for him at the deadline. Is this something that they agreed on beforehand? There is a $9 million option, and Baltimore's going to pick that up for the 26th season, or you wouldn't trade for him. This guy pitched, 35 years old. I'm going to sit here and tell you I was a huge Andrew Kittredge fan right away. But then I'm watching him in the playoffs, and it's like he pitched every day against the Padres. It's like one of these guys, like in a day and age where they're telling us, hey, guys can't pitch. Their arms will blow off. He's one of those guys that gets out there. I was pulling for the Dodgers in the postseason because I'm watching Yamamoto, and the guy's like throwing every day. Complete game. I thought your arm blows off if you throw more than 6 innings. No, he did it. About Game 6, he pitched. Starts. Came in Game 7. The only guys that can do that are Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. And they did that back in 2001. People don't do that anymore. Guess what? It's a game where you throw a ball to a guy with a glove. He catches it. And you throw it again. Right? Like, We've gotten so far away from the fact that this isn't rocket science, and the Dodgers win the World Series and their MVP is a guy that's like old school. And Kittredge reminds me of one of those old school guys. The other thing that I thought of when I saw this trade was my buddy Gary Hughes. Do you guys know Gary? He was the special assistant to Jim Hendry when he was GM of the Cubs. Gary's one of the all-time great scouts. The late, great Gary Hughes. And I tell you that, and it still doesn't resonate in my brain, right? Like, I can't believe it. I'm waiting on him to call me and ask me about college football stats and stuff. One of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. He's one of the greatest people that I've ever met, period. And he was an amazing person. And one of the things he always talked about was when you make a trade, you want them to win and you want you to win. You want both sides to win. You don't want to win the trade where you basically screw them over and they don't, and you get something and they don't, like the Michael Soroka trade. Awful. Gary was all about doing the right thing by people. I'm a Rotarian. Same way at the Rotary Club. Hey, you make a deal. Is it good for everybody? And I'm blessed to have had Gary as someone in my life that I learned from. And I felt like this was one of those deals. You get a deal from Baltimore, you get them, you trade them back, and then guess what? Maybe at the deadline next year, you guys trust each other, you're comfortable with each other, and you make deals to help each other win. A lot of you guys are going, who, you don't have any idea who I'm talking about. He's in the open of my video. Len Casper and me are sitting with him before one of the games we broadcasted. Just a special dude. But the point is that you got to build those relationships up. And sometimes it's deals like this. You got Kittredge. The guy lived up to his contract. You didn't want him. You sent him back. They get him. And then you hope that maybe down the road that you're able to kind of work that relationship and get something more out of it, right? And it also gave me an opportunity to talk about Gary because I think about him a lot. I learned a lot of lessons from him, and I miss him. All right, final thing I want to get into. Darvish, former Cub, going to miss the entire 26th season because he's having elbow surgery. The guy's 39 years old. Faced him in the postseason. This guy's so unique to me. Because I always felt like he was amazing. But then when he came on the Cubs, I'm like, he's got great stuff, but he's just not a winner. It just isn't. Like, Greg Maddux is a winner. Like, I remember talking to Greg when he was a special assistant to the GM of the Cubs. And it was like, hey, look, if they score 5, all you got to do is give up 4. If they score 2, you got to give up 1. Like, it's a game. Darvish, amazing stuff. Like off the charts. Got all these pitches, can do all this stuff with the baseball. If you score 2, he's going to give up 3. if you score 5, he'll give up 6. You score 1, he's going to give up 2. It's like, I don't understand it. It's just the way it is. Great pitcher with, the way that he could throw the ball, the velocity, the movement, all that stuff. It's not a guy you want on the mound in a game that matters. And the Padres found that out, just like I knew going into that series. All right, final thing I want to talk about on the show today. Former Cub Keegan Thompson signs with the Reds. It's a major league deal. He'll be in Cincinnati's bullpen. Guy that the Cubs drafted, developed. Good luck to him. I don't know if this hurts the organization that much. AveD, Mick Nation. There's the QR code right there, everybody. Hats, money, all that stuff's all free. We get on there and we, just basically predict games and all that. We have winners each week. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Cubs baseball channel. Go Cubs, go. Thanks for being here. We will do it again tomorrow. I feel like there's so much stuff to talk about that I can't sit here and get to it all. So we got to save some for tomorrow. But anyway, thank you guys. Don't forget next vacation for those of you in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa. You're tired of the flat. You want to get to the mountains. Go to the Smoky Mountains. Sevierville, Tennessee's got you covered. And when you're there, you might run into a fish or a bear that talk.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville.
Even we had to check it out.
And we've been here our whole lives.
Experience the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm king of the world.
Even you can get a bird's eye view of the Smokies.
You're going down, Billy. Whoa.
Your Smokies start here.